Hello students, this is my lecture number 7 on derivatives, probably the last lecture on derivatives. And after that we move on to interest rate derivatives. That is a part of derivatives only, but we deal with it as a separate topic. So interest rate derivatives will come after this lecture. Over this entire 6 lectures that I have delivered on derivatives, very few students have come up with various difficulties, and to the maximum possible extent I have been able to solve this at my level. But I am sure there are many others who are not coming up with their difficulties, and who maybe probably you are feeling shy or whatever it is, whatever may be the reason. But let me tell you one thing, that if you feel shy to ask a question or a query, then the loss is yours. I have been open as far as possible to address all the issues, simplified the topic as much as possible, and from the examination point of view also, I made it such simple that you can solve any question under the sun on derivatives. As I said, you have to be thorough with your concepts, you have to have solid knowledge of your basics, and once you master that, that is your basic concepts are mastered, you can solve any problem under the sun on derivatives. So today, assuming that all of you have understood the topic of derivatives, I proceed with the last part, that is the application of a few strategies like butterfly strategy and so on. And then we will conclude with derivatives, and then we move on to the topic of interest rate derivatives. Okay, so that will take about one lecture, interest rate derivatives, and then I come to a very small topic, that is mutual funds. And after doing mutual funds, SFM from my side comes to an end. Okay, so let us start with lecture number 7 on derivatives. So today we will be starting with question number 14 from your book. Question 14, page 166. Ready? Given to you, call options on a share are available for a period of 3 months for a strike price of 15, 17, 0.5 and 20 rupees. So these are the 3 rates which are given to you. Strike prices 15, 17.5 and 20 rupees. And a premium of 4, 2 and 1 respectively. Now, one of the things that we learned in the concepts was that for a call option, higher the strike price, lower the premium, and lower the strike price, higher the premium. So lower strike price, high premium. 15 is the lower one, so high premium, 4. 20 is the highest one, so the lowest premium of 1. Always check this. They have given respectively, so no problem. In this particular question, they have given it in proper order. But sometimes they may not give in proper order. So you as a student have to check before you are starting solving the question whether it is in order or not. Question is, explain how an investor can create a butterfly spread and also find out the profit potentialities for different prices on the expiration date. So this is the question. Now let us see how to solve. Butterfly strategy. That means there will be 3 prices. Yes, there are 3 prices, 15, 17.5 and 20. Okay, so for the 3 prices now, what is the rule for a butterfly spread? write 2 calls, it is a call option. Call option. Write 2 calls at the intermediary price. Buy 1 call up, buy 1 call down. Okay. Write 2 calls at the intermediary price. Buy 1 call at the upper price and buy 1 call at the lower price. So let us see how to solve this. Write down first. A butterfly strategy is one. A butterfly strategy is one in which we can buy 1 call. We can buy 1 call at a lower strike price. At a lower strike price, and 1 at a higher strike price, and 1 at a higher strike price, and write 2 calls. Write 2 calls at the intermediary price. At the intermediate price. So write one below the other. 20, 17.5 and 15. Write in proper order. Highest value, intermediary value and lowest value. At 15 rupees we buy 1 call. At 20 rupees we buy 1 call. At the 2 extremes we buy 1 call. And whatever we have done at the 2 extremes, the opposite of that, that is writing 2 calls at the intermediate price. Okay, now they have given us premiums 4 rupees for 15. So at this 15 rupees, it is at the rate of 4 rupees. Okay, and 17.5 it is 2 rupees premium, and this is at 1 rupee premium. So what will be the total outflow of cash or inflow of cash? I am buying 1 call over here and here. So I am paying 4 plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5 rupees outflow of cash. I am writing 2 calls at the center. So 2 into 2, 4. I am receiving 5 minus 4. So actually it is 1 rupee net cash outflow. Okay, 4 rupees plus 1 rupee, that is equal to 5 rupees. And at 17.5, at the rate of 2, 2 into 2, that is 4. So show the working. Initial investment made is 4 plus 1, that is this 4 plus this 1, minus 2 into 2, that is this 2 premium into 2 calls. So that is equal to 1 rupee. Now market price on expiration can be less than 15 rupees, between 15 and 17.5, between 17.5 and 20, and more than 20. These are 4 possible scenarios. What are the 4 scenarios? Less than 15, sorry, less than 15, between 15 and 17.5, between 17.5 and 20, and more than 20. So these are the 4 scenarios which are possible. So let us see the payoff for each of them. Market price on date of expiration, 4 scenarios. Market price less than 15. Okay. Market price is between 15 and 17.5. Market price is between 17.5 and 20. Market price is greater than 20. Now, it's a call option. Call option will be exercised whenever whenever the market price is greater than the strike price. Okay, market price is greater than the strike price. Now my strike price is 15 rupees and market price is less than 15. What will happen? I'll let the option lapse. What is my loss? 1 rupee. Correct? 1 rupee what? That is a premium that I paid. I let the option lapse. So value of the option is 0. Minus 1 rupee investment that I made. Net investment of premiums paid. If the market price is between 15 and 17.5, between 15 and 17.5, let us say 16 rupees. Okay, if it is 16 rupees, what will I do? I will exercise which call? I will exercise the call with strike price of 15. I'll buy at 15, sell at 16, profit of 1. 1 minus 1, 0. If the price is 17 rupees, suppose the market price is 17 rupees. First one I took, it is 16 rupees. First one I was taking 16 rupees. I buy at 15, sell at 16, 1 rupee profit, 1 minus 1, 0. Now if the amount is 17, market price is 17, I will buy at 15, sell at 17, so there will be a profit of 2 rupees. 2 minus 1, it will be 1. If it is 17.25, suppose it is 17.25, market price is 17.25. Then I buy at 15, sell at 17.25, so 2.25 is the profit. 2.25 minus 1 is equal to 1.25. That means whatever is the market price minus the strike price, lower strike price. Because at this I am not going to execute. So lower strike price is 15. So market price minus 15 minus 1. Market price minus 15 minus 1. If it is between 17.5 and 20, then I will exercise only if it is more than the strike price. No, so it should be more than 17.5 but less than 20. So at this point I am not going to exercise. So I will be exercising this particular strike price. Okay? Point is clear. Now, if the amount is, here I am at this price, what am I doing? It is between 17.5 and 20. I have written 2 calls. I have written 2 calls at 17.5. I have written 2 calls at 17.5. So, if it is between 17.5 and 20, what will happen? Counterparty will exercise. I will not exercise. Counterparty will exercise. So now I am not supposed to see what I will do because I am not allowed to do anything here at 17.5. 17.5 or more than 17.5, the counterparty will exercise to whom I have sold. And if they sell, I have to buy. If they buy, I have to sell. So I have sold what? I have sold a call option. That means option to buy or not to buy. So they will buy if it is more than 17.5. And if they are going to buy, I have to sell at 17.5. I have to sell at 17.5. So I will be selling at 17.5, buying at 20, buying at whatever is the market price. Whatever is the market price. I will be selling at 17.5, buying at market price. So suppose the market price is, let us say, 18 rupees. I will buy at 18, sell at 17.5. Okay. So that means it will be a loss that will be a loss, because I'm buying at 18 rupees, selling at 17.5. So loss of 0.5 minus 0.5 minus 1 net initial investment. Same way, if it is 19 rupees, I will buy at 19, sell at 17.5, 1.5 loss minus 1, 2.5 loss. So like this, if it is going to be, so I can say that it is less than or equal to here. Okay, so it is 20 minus market price minus 1 initial investment. And same way it will be for this also, loss of 1 if it is greater than 20. So in this way, I show the payoff. But now let me put it in the form of a table and explain with example what is my actual net profit, net loss. So I take one figure below 15. I take one figure between 15 and 17.5. That is any round figure I can take. And I will have one market price greater than 20. Okay. So like this I will be having 4 prices. So I can take any figures. I will take one figure less than 15, one figure between 15 and 17.5, one figure between 17.5 and 20, and one figure greater than 20. So 4 figures I will take. Let us see. I take these 4 figures, 14, 17, 19 and 22. Buy one call at 15 rupees. So for that particular option, what will happen? If the price is 14, I will not exercise. If the price is 17, I will buy at 15, sell at 17, profit of 2. If it is 19, I will buy at 15, sell at 19, profit is 4. If it is 22, I will buy at 15, sell at 22, profit is 7. Where I bought the call for 20 rupees strike price. More than 20, so first 3 are nil. I will buy at 20, sell at 22, profit of 2. Where I have written 2 calls at 17.5. Counterparty will exercise when it is more than 17.5. That means in the first case, second case it will not be exercised. 19 when it is a counterparty exercises. Counterparty exercises and buys at 17.5 two calls. Okay, so that means 35. 35 and 38, 19 into 2, 38. So I have to sell at 35, buy at 38. Buy at 38, sell at 35. So loss of 3 rupees. Buy at 22, 22 into 2, that is 44, minus 35. 44 minus 35, minus 9, loss of 9. Net premium paid. So profit or loss in the first case, it is minus 1 loss. Plus 2 minus 1 is profit of 1. 4 minus 1. 4 minus 3 minus 1. That is 0. 7 plus 2, 9. 9 minus 9. 0 minus 1 minus 1. So this is the profit or loss. Which means that if you see here, the maximum loss suffered is minus 1. And maximum profit is plus 1. So if I am drawing the graph, how the graph will look? Maximum loss is minus 1, plus 1, profit. Okay? If it is 19, it is 0. If it is 19, it is 0. And at 14 and 22, it is minus 1. 14 and 22, it is minus 1. So that means less than 19, it is minus 1. 17, it is positive. Okay, here I can show. So that means this part, profit of 1, again down. This is my butterfly spread. Let us see if I am right. Diagram. This is what we get. Okay, so over here, though the diagram is not asked, I'm just showing you the diagram as to how it will come. This is how we solve the problem. Okay, that is your question number 14. Okay, any difficulty? Let us go to question number 15. You are given 3 call options on a stock at an exercise price of 50, 40, 45 with the expiration date in 3 months and the premium of 4, 2 and 1 respectively. Again, they have given it in order. Show how the options can be used to create a butterfly spread. Construct a table with the different market prices and show how the profit changes with the stock prices ranging from 30 to 60. So they have given us the range now. Okay, for the butterfly spread. So again I do the same thing, long butterfly, where at the two extremes I will be buying one call and selling 2 calls or writing 2 calls at the intermediate price. Okay, now same thing I will do. Right now, a long butterfly spread can be created. A long butterfly spread can be created by buying one call at a low price and one call at a high price. Buying one call at a low price and one call at a high price, and selling, or you can say writing 2 calls at intermediate price. Writing 2 calls at intermediate price. So buy one call at strike price of 40. Premium paid is 4 rupees. Buy one call at strike price of 50. Premium paid is 1 rupee. And sell 2 calls, or you can say write 2 calls. Write 2 calls at strike price of 45. Premium received is 4 rupees. So how much we have paid? We have paid 5. We have received 4. So 5 minus 4, it is going to be 1. Net cash outflow is 1 rupee. Now we have to prepare range is 30 to 60. So I take all values from 30 to 60. Strike price is 40 rupees. I will implement only when it is more than 40, that is at 45, 50, 55, 60. So the first 3 it will be nil. Buy at 40, sell at 45, 5 rupees profit. 40 minus 50, 10 rupees profit. 40 minus 55, 15 rupees profit. 40 minus 60, 20 rupees profit. Buy one call at 50 rupees. So that means I will exercise only when it is more than 50 rupees. So in the first 4 cases, first 5 cases it will be 0. Then 5 and 10. Write 2 calls at 45. When will counterparty exercise? When it is more than 45. So more than 45, 50. So till that it is nil. I will buy at 50, sell at 45, 5 rupees loss, 5 into 2, 10 rupees. Buy at 55, sell at 45, 10 rupees loss, 10 into 2, 20 rupees loss. Buy at 60, sell at 50, 45, 15 rupees loss, 15 into 2, 30 rupees. Premium is 1, net cash outflow is 1. So in the first case it's a loss, second case loss, third case loss of 1, fourth case 5 minus 1, profit of 4, loss of 1, loss of 1, loss of 1. Done? Do it systematically, you'll get the answers. And as I said, if the concepts are solid, there is no way that you can lose out. Question number 16. Internet Services Limited is a listed company and the share prices have been volatile. Very interesting, no? Very interesting question. Important question. So market is important, very important. It is a listed company and the share prices have been volatile. An investor expects that the share price may fall from the present level of 1900. So spot price is 1900. Spot price is 1900. And wants to make a profit by a suitable option strategy. Okay? He is short of a share. That means he has sold a share without having delivery at a price of 1900. He has already sold. Okay, this is important. He is short of share at a price of 1900. That means he has already sold one share at 1900 and wants to protect himself against any loss. The following option rates are available. So if you see the option rate, strike price of 1700, call option is available at 325, at 1800 it is 200, 1900 85, and at 2000 it is 70, 2100 it is 65. Likewise, the put option values are given 65, 80, 120, 200 and 280. Okay? Investor decides to buy a call at strike price of 1800 and write a put at a strike price of 2000. Find out the profit or loss profile of the investor if the share price on the expiration date is 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000 or 2100. Also make diagrammatic representation. Good question. So investor has bought a call at a strike price of 1800 and sold a put at a strike price of 2000. Bought a call at a strike price of 1800. Call at 1800. So 200 is the premium paid. 200 is a premium paid. And he has written a put option at strike price of 2000. 2000 is a call option. This is a put option. And he has written, write a put option here. He has bought a call option here, buy a call option. Okay? He has written a put option at 2000. So for put option the premium is 200. So he has paid 200. He has paid 200 and he has received 200. So there is nothing, no outflow of cash. No outflow of cash. Okay? So let us see how to solve. Write down. In the given problem, the investor has purchased a call option. The investor has purchased a call option at a premium of rupees 200. At a premium of rupees 200. So this is the amount paid. And sold a put option. At a premium of rupees 200. Received. Sold a put option Okay, therefore net cash outflow is nil. Net cash outflow is nil. Now I prepare these 5 columns. Expected price, all at 1800, put at 2000. So here it is buy, here it is right, sold. So different prices which are given to me from 1600 to 2100. Now let us take one at a time. One at a time. We have bought a call option at 1800. So when will I exercise? When it is more than 1800. So at 1600 it will lapse. 1700 it will lapse. 1800 it will lapse. 1900 I will buy at 1800, sell at 1900, make a profit of 100. Then make a profit of 200, make a profit of 300. Okay? Write a put at 2000. That means counterparty will decide when to sell, because it's a put option. When to sell, counterparty will decide when to sell. It will sell when it is less than 2000. Less than 2000 means. Okay? So if they sell, then we have to buy. So I buy at 2000, sell at 1600. I buy at 2000. They are selling, counterparty is selling, so I am buying. Okay, it's a put option. So counterparty will sell, right to sell or not to sell. So counterparty will sell. I have to buy at what price? At 2000. So I buy at 2000, sell at 1600, loss of 400. Buy at 2000, sell at 1700, loss of 300. Buy at 2000, sell at 1800, loss of 200. Buy at 2000, sell at 1900, loss of 100. And after that, the counterparty will let the option lapse. Okay. Now, what is my spot position? This is the additional part. What is my spot position? I have short sold. I have short sold at 1900. That means I have already sold. I did not have the share. I already sold at 1900. Now I have to buy at 1600. So if I buy at 1600, I make a profit of 300. If I buy at 1700, I make a profit of 17 minus 19, 200. If I buy at 1800, my profit is 100. If I buy at 1900, there is no profit, no loss. If I buy at 2000, loss of 100. If I buy at 2100, loss of 200. Net figure. Minus 400 plus 300 is minus 100. Minus 300 plus 200 is minus 100. Minus 100. Nil. 100 profit. 100 profit. So maximum loss is 100. Okay? Maximum loss is 100. Maximum profit is 100. Maximum profit is 100. So how the figure will look? Maximum loss 100. Maximum profit 100. And there will be one more line. This is for the spot position. Spot position. $300, 200, like that it will go on. 300, 200, 100, 100 loss, 200 loss, 300 loss. As the price increases, the losses will be indefinite. That is the spot position. As the price decreases, profits will go on increasing. Yeah, unlimited profits. That is the spot position. Okay? Any difficulty? Okay, fine. So now you can see that application is coming of the different questions. Now what I want to do is, I again want to go back to two things. One is the binomial distribution and one is the Black and Scholes model. So I will be doing two questions now. One is a binomial and one is a Black and Scholes. Then we'll wind up with the topic of derivatives. Okay? So let us take question number 17. A share has a current market price of 40 rupees. 1 month call is available at a strike price of 39 rupees. It is known that after 1 month the share price may be either 42 or 38. Find out value of the call option as per binomial model. The risk-free rate is 8%. Okay, so let us start with current market price. Right, current market price is 40 rupees. It may increase to 42 rupees or decrease to 38 rupees. So 40 to 42 is 2. 2 by 40 is 1 by 20. 1 by 20 is 5%. 40 to 38 decrease by 2 rupees. 2 by 40 is again 1 by 20. That is again 5%. So percentage wise, it is going to increase by 5% or it is going to decrease by 5%. Okay. Now, first step, U is equal to 1 plus 5%, that is 1.05. D is equal to 1 minus 5%, that is 0.95. Risk-free rate is given. Now, what is important is in the question. Let us go back to the question. What is important in the question is that this risk-free rate is 8%. 8% I told you, whenever percentage is given, it is always per annum basis. It is always on per annum basis. So I want a 1 month call. I want a 1 month call. It is 8% per annum. Okay, so 8% per annum. So for 1 month it is going to be not 8%. It will be 0.666667. And if I take that in decimal form, it will be 0.0066. That is 0.0066. Or I can take it as 0.007. Or I can round it up to 0.01. In decimal form, it is 0.66667%. So in decimal form, it will be 0.006666. And when I round it up, I will get this. And round it up to 2 decimals, I will get 0.01. Calculation clear? That is why I brought you back to the question. It is 8%, and percentage, whether mentioned or not, it is always on a per annum basis. And I want for 1 month, I have told you. isn't it? I want for 1 month. So I've told you this, that this is going to be for 1 month. Point is clear. So I'm calculating. So write down. Risk-free rate is given as 8% per annum. Underline this. 8% per annum. Therefore, for 1 month it will be. For 1 month it will be 0.01. So R is equal to 1 plus 0.01. R is equal to 1.01 These are new things in the question. Probability of increase R minus D upon U minus D. Probability of increase R minus D upon U minus D. See, problems are the same. Questions are the same. But instead of giving you calculation of 1 year, I give you calculation of 1 month. I can give you calculation of 3 months. So you have to be careful enough now to find out, because earlier the binomial problems were done on a 1 year basis, 2 year basis, year basis. We have never done on 1 month basis. This is the difference. This is the difference. And for that you have to be mentally alert. You have to be mentally alert. Don't go on blindly solving the problem. Underline. Whatever is important, underline. You come across something risk-free, underline risk-free rate of interest. You come across 1 month, underline 1 month. 3 months or 3 months. This is where you have to be very careful. And we cannot teach you this, how to be mentally alert. We can tell you, you have to be mentally alert. Okay, substitute now. So probability of increase is 0.6. So probability of decrease will be 0.4. Starting with current market price of 40, increasing to 42 or decreasing to 38. Strike price is 39. Strike price is 39 and it is a call option. More than 39, then that means it is going to be this part. It will be exercised at 42 and it will lapse at 38. If I exercise at 42, I will buy at 39, sell at 42, make a profit of 3. And if at 38 it lapses, the value of the option will be 0. So probability of increase is 0.6. Probability of decrease is 0.4. So what do we do? What do we do? This is point A. I want to value at point A. Value at, I will not call it as point A, it is nodal A. So value at A is equal to 0.6 into 3 plus 0.4 into 0 divided by 1.01. So that gives me 0.6 into 3 divided by 1.01. That comes to around 1.78. 1.78. That is the value of the option. Okay. So we have done binomial again, but with a difference. What is the difference? Instead of calculation of 1 year jump, it is 1 month jump. So risk-free rate of interest 8% per annum, has been reduced for per month, and then the calculation has been done. Okay, so problems are same as I told you, but you have to be careful, because when you're solving the problem, you should know what is the change, what is the difference in the given question. Come to question number 18. Shares of Synthetic Limited are being sold at 408 per share. What is that? S. Why I'm saying S? Because use BS model. BS model means what? Arey, new model. Sir has not taught. Arey, BS model is nothing but Black and Scholes model. Black and Scholes model. BS model. Not a binomial model. You know, in the hurry in the examination, some students have read this as binomial model. I have not written binomial anywhere. There are no binomial values also. So it is Black and Scholes model. BS means Black and Scholes model. Sold at 408, so this is S value. Dividend of 10 rupees per share is expected in 2 months' time. Find out the value of the call option. Strike price is 380. Strike price is 380. Risk-free rate is 5%. Volatility of the share price is 22%. 22% is standard deviation. Call period is 3 months. If you go to my last lecture, that is lecture number 6, when we were doing Black and Scholes model, I underlined one point over there. That is, it is applicable for a case which is of a share having no dividend. No dividend payout. But now dividend has come in. This is the important part. Dividend has come in. Dividend of 10 rupees per share. It was not there in the previous problem. Previous problems it was no dividend share. But now they have specified what to do. Sir has not taught us this type of question. Now students, you have to go back to what I have done in the beginning, futures calculation. And I took 3 cases over there. Futures calculation, I took 3 cases. What are the 3 cases? First is where stock is not yielding any dividend. Second is where stock is giving us a particular amount of dividend. Amount of dividend. Ah, yes, sir. What did we do there? First formula was S into E raised to RT. Second formula, when dividend was given, I did S minus I. What is I? I was present value of that dividend. I was present value of that dividend. So now here also, if dividend is not there, then normal method. If dividend is there, then S minus I. Follow connection of what we have learned. Thinking capacity, application capacity. I told you that it is Black and Scholes is for no dividend stock. But if in the question it is given, now here they have given, what you will do? You will go and argue with the examiner that as per the theory it should not be, it should be a stock without any dividend. You have given dividend, it is wrong, you are mad. You can't do that. You have to see how to apply the concepts that you have learned. How to apply the concepts that you have learned. And this nobody can teach you. You have to have the intelligence. You have to have that, the spark. It should strike you at that time that we have done something like this. What did we do at that time? We said minus S minus I into E raised to RT. Now also I will do S minus I and then take adjusted S. So now I call it as adjusted S. Write down. According to Black and Scholes model, C is equal to C is equal to S into ND1 minus X into e raised to minus RT into ND2. S is equal to 408. S is equal to 408. But since dividend of rupees 15, is expected in 2 months, its present value is to be reduced from S. How to calculate? Present value of dividend 10 rupees now. So 10 into e raised to minus. Present value for minus. Future value it is plus e raised to RT. Present value minus RT. R is what? 0.05. 2 months to 2 into 12. 2 by 12. Now for this you will have to remove logs. For this case you have to remove logs and solve with the help of logs. Now that you will do. Sitting at home you will do that. I will tell you what the value comes to. It should come to 0.9917. To solve that entire thing with the help of logs, you should get 0.9917. That you have to do. You have to do. I will not do. You have to do. Sit with the log. Take x is equal to e raised to minus 0.0083. Take log of both sides. Get the index down. Multiply by 0.4343. Take antilog of that. You will get antilog of a negative number. Antilog of a negative number, I told you what? You have to add 1 minus 1. Remember, antilog of a negative number when you come across, you have to minus 1 plus 1. Do that, remove the antilog, get this value, 0.9917. If you don't get, contact me. Multiply. What you will get? 9.917. So this is the present value of dividend which should be adjusted from 408. So adjusted S is 408 minus 9.917. So I rounded up to 398.08. Write down all the values now. Your adjusted S is 398.08. Remaining things are there. Strike price is 380. Risk-free rate of return. Risk-free rate of return 0.05, that is 5%. Standard deviation 0.22. Time is 3 months, 3 by 12, that is 0.25. What is the first thing that you do? The first thing that you do is calculate the value of D1 and D2. D1 and D2. Log normal S by X plus into bracket R plus 0.5 sigma square close bracket T. The whole thing divided by standard deviation into root of T. Substitute. Log normal 398.08 by 380 plus R is 0.05 plus 0.5 into 0.0484 time T 0.25. The whole thing divided by 0.22 into square root of 0.25. So you get log normal of 1.0476. plus 0.01855. Log normal of log normal of any number is log normal of 1.0476 is equal to log of 1.0476 divided by log of E. Solve this, you will get the value as 0.0467 plus 0.01855 divided by 0.11. So when you solve this, you will get D1 value as 0.5932. D2 value is D1 value minus denominator of D1. D1 minus 0.11. 0.4832. Okay. Now what we do is we go for calculation of ND1. Now when I go for calculation of ND1 will be actually N of 0.59. I told you round up to 2 decimals. But if you see in the normal distribution table, the 9th column is not there. 9th column is not there. It is only up to 8th column. So what I will do is I will round this up to 0.60. And ND2 is equal to what? Is equal to N into normal distribution of 0.48. Okay. So ND1 is equal to N of 0.59, which will be rounded up to 0.6. Go to your normal distribution table, check 0.60. You will get 0.2257 to 0.5 plus 0.2257. ND2 is 0.48. Go to your normal distribution table, 0.48 value if you see, it comes to something like 0.1879. Normally values will be given, if not table will be given, 0.1879 plus 0.5. Clear? Substitute in the equation now, call equation 398.08 S into ND1, ND1 is 0.7257 minus strike price 380 into e raised to minus 0.05 into 0.25 into ND2 value 0.6879. Then you will have to evaluate this by taking logs with the help of log. 288.89 minus 380 into 0.9877 into 0.6879. First solve this. Multiplication first. Don't subtract 288.89 minus 380. You have to solve the multiplication first. BODMAS. Remember this. What do you have to remember? You have to remember BODMAS. What is BODMAS? Bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. That order you have to follow. Multiplication, then addition. So you get this as 288.89 minus 258.19. So value of the call option is 30.70. So a lot of calculations are left for you. Calculation of all those logs, calculation of that ND1, ND2. Okay, so In derivatives, I have covered most of the things. Whatever I have not covered is there in your material. Go through that. Theory is lot of their option Greeks are there. So go through that option Greeks part, solve the questions. You should be able to get very easy. The difficult ones I have taken up, easy ones I have kept it for you. Practice problems are given, additional problems are given. Practice those questions. Okay? Practice. First, theory, concepts, absolutely solid, rock solid. After that, you start solving the problems, application of those concepts, application of the strategies. And then you will find that topic is going on very smoothly. So whenever you have a difficult topic, you should know how to handle it. And the handling, the solution, the secret lies in doing the concepts, doing the basic theory. Once that is solidified, then you can crack any question under the sun. Okay? So, with today I wind up with the topic of derivatives. In the next lecture, I will be starting with interest rate derivatives. Okay? It's a part of derivatives. Interest rate derivatives, the next chapter is there. So, I will be doing that. Mostly it will be completed in one session only, that is in one lecture only. And after that, I take one more lecture on mutual fund. That is the last topic of my SFM. So I think about 2 or 3 lectures maximum will be there for your completion of SFM. And see that you are doing continuous practice. Okay? And after I complete SFM, I intend to start with SCMPE also, that is costing. And let us see whether we can do justice to that. Okay? So till the next lecture, stay at home, stay safe, God bless you.